The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was silent. Representatives from 300 worlds filled the chamber. Their forms were different. Some had scales, some had fur, some floated in tanks of liquid, but all of them watched the center platform with the same worried expressions. Admiral Kethros of the Vrex Dominion stood at the speaking platform. He was tall, nearly 3 meters high. His skin looked like dark metal. His 4 eyes glowed red in the dim light. Behind him, a hologram showed a small blue planet. Earth. Council members, Kethros began. His voice was deep and powerful. The human species has refused our authority. They will not pay tribute. They will not follow our laws. They mock our power. A wave of sound moved through the chamber. Some council members clicked their mandibles. Others hissed. The humans were new to space. Only 200 years ago, they had been trapped on their one planet. Now they dared to say no to the council. Council leader Maxis raised one of his 6 arms. The chamber went quiet. Maxis was ancient. His species had traveled space for 10,000 years. He spoke with the weight of all that time. Admiral Kethros, Maxis said slowly, your Dominion wishes to punish these humans. But punishment requires strength. Tell us, what strength do the humans have? Kethros smiled. It was not a kind smile. He touched a control on his wrist. The hologram changed. Now it showed numbers and images. The humans have 50 defensive stations, Kethros said. They orbit their homeworld and their colonies. Our intelligence shows they have perhaps 200 ships. Small ones. Their weapons are simple. Kinetic projectiles. Basic lasers. No plasma technology. No phase shields. They use fusion drives, slow, weak. He paused to let the numbers sink in. Then he continued. My fleet has 500 warships. We have weapons that can burn through their stations in seconds. We have shields that their primitive guns cannot touch. We have faster than light drives. We can be at Earth in 3 days. Another council member spoke. This one looked like a giant insect. Its voice came through a translator. How long? The insect asked. How long until the humans surrender? Kethros laughed. The sound echoed through the hall. The Council's war probability computers have run the numbers, he said. The humans will fall in 6 to 8 hours after we arrive. Maybe less. They are young, weak, they do not know real war. Maxis looked troubled. His old eyes studied the data. The humans sent a message, Maxis said. What did it say? Kethros waved one hand. Like the message was not important, they said, turn back. This is your only warning. Kethros laughed again. Typical human arrogance. They think words will save them. Words are nothing. Only power matters, and we have all the power. The council voted. It was almost unanimous. The Vrex Dominion had permission to teach humanity a lesson, to show them that no species could refuse the council's rule. As the chamber emptied, only Maxis remained on his platform. He stared at the hologram of Earth. Something felt wrong. The humans had been in space for 200 years. That was not much time. But it was enough time to learn. Enough time to prepare. What had the humans been doing for 200 years? 3 days later, Admiral Kethros stood on the bridge of his flagship. Around him, 499 other Vrex warships moved through space. They had just dropped out of faster-than-light travel. Ahead of them, the human solar system waited. The tactical officer checked his screens. Admiral, the officer said, we are at the edge of the system. The Kuiper Belt region. No contacts, no enemy ships, no defensive stations, nothing. Kethros nodded. This was expected. The humans would defend their inner planets, their homeworld. They would wait near Earth. That was what primitive species always did. They guarded their homes. Move forward, Kethros ordered. Battle formation. All shields up. Charge all weapons. We go to Earth. The fleet advanced. They moved between chunks of ice and rock that floated in the outer system. The sensors showed nothing dangerous. Just asteroids. Just empty space. Kethros felt good, confident. In a few hours, this would be over. The humans would kneel. Or they would burn. Then the tactical officer made a sound. A surprised, frightened sound. Admiral. Incoming! Multiple incoming! From where? Kethros demanded. I see no ships. Not ships, sir. Missiles, thousands of them. They are coming from empty space. How is that possible? They are moving at... Admiral, they are moving at 0.15 light speed. Kethros felt his blood turn cold. 0.15 light speed? That was impossible. The humans did not have that technology. The report said they were primitive. Evasive action. he shouted. "All ships, evasive action now!" But it was too late. The missiles were not aimed at the ships. That was the clever part. The terrible part. They were aimed at the empty space ahead of the fleet. The space the fleet was flying into. When the missiles detonated, they released clouds of metal. Millions of tiny pieces, each piece moving at incredible speed. The Vrex fleet flew right into these clouds. At those speeds, even a tiny piece of metal had enormous power. The shields tried to stop them, but there were too many. The shields failed. The metal pieces tore through ship hulls like they were paper. 70 ships exploded in the first minute. 70. Just gone, vaporized. Their crews dead before they even knew what hit them. Kethro stared at his screens in horror. All around his flagship, ships were dying. The tactical display showed red symbols everywhere. Red meant destroyed. Red meant death. "Find them," he screamed. "Find the launch platforms. Where did those missiles come from?" His officers worked frantically. Slowly, the answer appeared on the screens. The missiles had come from the asteroids. From inside the asteroids, the humans had hollowed out thousands of rocks and put weapons inside them. They had been there for weeks, maybe months, maybe years, waiting, silent, cold, patient. The missiles had been launched weeks ago. The humans had calculated exactly where the Vrex fleet would be. They had predicted the Vrex path through space, and they had fired at that empty spot, knowing that eventually the Vrex would fly right into their trap. Kethros felt something he had not felt in many years. Fear. The humans were not primitive. They were not weak. The intelligence had been wrong. Completely catastrophically wrong. "Change course," Kethros ordered. "All ships scatter pattern. Find cover in the asteroids." The remaining 430 ships tried to spread out. They dove between the floating rocks looking for protection, but more missiles were already on their way. The asteroids kept firing, and somewhere far away the humans watched. Still, not one human ship had appeared. The humans were fighting without even showing themselves. Admiral Kethros realized with growing horror that the battle had already been decided. The humans had won before the Vrex even arrived. The war probability computers had been right about one thing. This would be quick, but they had been wrong about who would win. 8 million kilometers away from the dying Vrex fleet, Admiral Sarah Chen sat in her command chair. Around her, the Mars High Command Center hummed with quiet activity. Dozens of officers watched screens filled with data. They tracked every ship in the solar system. They watched every weapon. They knew where everything was. On the main screen, the Vrex fleet appeared as red dots. Many of those dots were already fading, disappearing, destroyed. Sarah watched without expression. She had seen this simulation 1,000 times. Now it was real. "Status report," Sarah said quietly. Commander Liu checked his console. "First wave successful. 70 enemy ships destroyed. Remaining vessels are attempting evasive maneuvers. They are scattering into the asteroid field. Wave 2? Sarah asked. "Launching now," Liu replied. "Another 2,000 platforms are going hot." "Impact in 90 seconds, Sarah nodded. Everything was going exactly as planned. But then they had planned for this exact scenario for decades. Next to Sarah, General Park stood with his arms crossed. He was old. His hair was white. His face had deep lines. He had spent 40 years in the Solar Defense Force. He had helped build the system that was now destroying the Vrex. "They still think we are primitive," Park said. His voice was sad. Not happy, just sad. "They looked at our ships and thought they knew everything about us." "They counted what we showed them," Sarah agreed. "Not what we built." Commander Liu spoke again. "Admiral receiving communication from the Vrex flagship. They are requesting a ceasefire. They want to negotiate." Sarah's expression did not change. "Tell them no. They came here to destroy us. They thought it would take 6 to 8 hours. We told them to turn back. They refused. Now they face the consequences." "Yes, Admiral," Liu said quietly. General Park walked to a secondary display. It showed the entire solar system. Little blue icons marked human defensive positions. There were thousands of them. Tens of thousands. "Do you remember when we first started this project?" Park asked. 200 years ago, right after the first colony ships left Earth." Sarah stood and joined him at the display. She did remember. She had studied the history. Every officer in the Solar Defense Force studied it. "The Space Defense Initiative," Sarah said. "The first global agreement. Every nation on Earth signed it. Every nation agreed on one thing. We would never be caught unprepared again. Park nodded. Humanity spent thousands of years fighting itself. Nation against nation. Tribe against tribe. We learned how to kill each other very well. We learned strategy, tactics, deception. We learned that the best defense is the one your enemy never sees coming. He pointed at the blue icons on the display. When we reached space, we remembered all those lessons. We knew that someday someone might come from the stars, someone hostile, someone who wanted to hurt us. So we prepared. Every asteroid, every moon, every orbital body. We turned them all into weapons. Sarah touched the display. The view zoomed in on the Kuiper Belt, the area where the Virex fleet was dying. Thousands of asteroids floated there. Most looked normal, but inside many of them human weapons waited. We built these platforms in secret, Sarah said. We disguised them, made them look like natural rocks. We made them cold so sensors could not find them. We made them smart so they could fire without orders. We made them patient, and we gave them time, Park added. The Vrex fleet took 3 days to get here, but we detected them the moment they entered faster than light travel. We knew they were coming 2 weeks before they arrived. Commander Liu interrupted. Admiral, Wave 2 has impacted. 43 more enemy ships destroyed. The Vrex are trying to retreat now. They are attempting to reach minimum safe distance for faster than light jump. Sarah returned to her command chair. Do not let them. Deploy interdiction field. I want every ship in that fleet to face justice for what they intended to do here. Interdiction field active, Liu confirmed. They cannot jump to FTL, they are trapped. General Park sat down heavily in a chair. He looked tired. The Galactic Council will not be happy about this, Sarah smiled. It was a cold smile. The Galactic Council sent these ships to teach us a lesson. Now we will teach them one instead. We will show them what happens when you threaten humanity. She stood again and addressed the entire command center. Her voice carried to every station. 200 years ago, our ancestors made a promise. Never again would humanity be defenseless. Never again would we watch helplessly as destruction came from above. Never again would we be the victims. She pointed at the main screen, at the dying Vrex fleet. They thought we were weak because we are young. They thought we were helpless because we have only 200 years in space. They were wrong. We used those 200 years to prepare, to build, to plan, and now they are learning what it means to attack Earth. The officers in the command center did not cheer. They did not celebrate. They simply did their jobs, professional, calm, efficient. This was not a game. This was survival. Commander Liu spoke again. Admiral, the Vrex fleet is sending another message. Admiral Kethros himself. He wants to speak to you directly. Sarah considered for a moment. Then she nodded. Put him on screen. Audio only. No video. A voice filled the command center. Deep, desperate, afraid. Human Commander, this is Admiral Kethros of the Vrex Dominion. I request immediate ceasefire. This attack is unprovoked. We came here on a peacekeeping mission authorized by the Galactic Council. Sarah's eyes went cold. A peacekeeping mission? Is that what you call bringing 500 warships to our home? Is that what you call planning to make us surrender within 8 hours? Silence, then Kethros spoke again. His voice was quieter now. How did you know? About the timeline? About our plans? Sarah laughed, but there was no humor in it. You discussed it in an open council chamber. Did you think we were not listening? We listen to everything, Admiral. We watch everything. We have been preparing for this moment for 2 centuries. You were just too arrogant to notice. Please, Kethros said. My fleet is destroyed. I have lost 300 ships already. Let the rest of us go. This was a mistake. A terrible mistake. Sarah looked at General Park. He shook his head once. No mercy. You are right, Admiral, Sarah said. This was a terrible mistake. Your mistake. You came here planning to kill us, to force us to kneel, to make an example of us. Well, now we will make an example of you instead. She made a cutting motion with her hand. Commander Liu ended the transmission. Prepare Phase 2, Sarah ordered. It is time to show them the real power of human engineering. Yes, Admiral, Liu said. Then he paused. Admiral, Phase 2 will be visible from Earth. Every telescope will see it. Every news station. Everyone will know, Sarah nodded. Good. Let them see. Let Earth see that their defenders are not helpless. Let the galaxy see that humanity is not prey. We are the hunters now. General Park stood up slowly. He walked to the window that looked out over the Martian landscape. In the distance, massive structures rose from the red sand. Gun batteries. Each one was the size of a city block. Each one pointed up at the stars. The Vrex thought the asteroids were our main defense, Park said quietly. They thought those platforms were the trap. They have no idea what is coming next. Sarah joined him at the window. Together, they looked up at the sky. Somewhere out there, the Vrex fleet was trying desperately to survive, trying to escape, but there was no escape. Not from what humanity had built. Phase 2 authorization confirmed, Commander Liu reported. All stations ready. Lunar batteries are charging. Martian arrays are online. Jupiter platforms report ready. Saturn network is green. Sarah turned back to her command chair. She sat down. Her hands gripped the armrests. The Vrex came here expecting to fight for hours, she said. Instead, this war will end in minutes, and the galaxy will remember. They will remember what happens when you threaten humanity. She took a deep breath. All stations. Phase 2. Execute. On the bridge of his dying flagship, Admiral Kethro stared at his tactical display in disbelief. The humans had cut the transmission. No mercy, no negotiation. Just cold, calculated destruction. Around him, his crew worked frantically. Damage reports came in from every section. The ship was dying. Not just his ship. His entire fleet was dying. Tactical Officer Kethro said. His voice was hoarse. Status of the fleet. The officer's hands shook as he checked his console. Admiral, we have lost 327 ships. 173 ships remain. Many are damaged. The interdiction field is preventing FTL jumps. We are trapped here. 327 ships gone just like that. Kethros had commanded fleets for 40 years. He had won dozens of battles. He had conquered systems. Never had he seen destruction like this. And the worst part, they still had not seen a single human ship, not one. The humans were killing them without even showing themselves. Sir, the communications officer suddenly shouted. New contacts. Multiple new contacts. Finally, Kethro said. The human fleet shows itself. All ships target the new contacts. Fire at will. Sir, the communications officer said. His voice was strange, afraid. These are not ships. These are... I do not know what these are. Kethros looked at the tactical display. New icons appeared. Dozens of them, hundreds. They came from everywhere. From the inner system. From the planets, then the sensors identified them. Projectiles, massive projectiles, moving at incredible speed. 0.3 light speed. The tactical officer screamed. They are moving at 0.3 light speed. That is impossible. Nothing can move that fast. But it was not impossible. The humans had done it. Far away on Earth's moon, 30 massive railguns had just fired. These were not normal weapons. They were engineering marvels. Each gun was built into a crater. Each gun was the size of a city. And each gun could accelerate a tungsten rod to 30% of light speed. The rods were simple. Just metal. No explosives. No complicated technology. Just pure kinetic energy. And at those speeds, they did not need explosives. Physics did all the work. A single rod moving at 0.3 light speed carried more energy than a nuclear weapon. Enough energy to destroy a planet if aimed at the surface. More than enough to destroy a spaceship. Evasive action, Kethros ordered. But he knew it was hopeless. At that speed, the rods would reach them in seconds. There was no time to move. No time to run. No time to do anything except die. The first rod hit a Vrex battlecruiser. The ship simply ceased to exist. One moment it was there. The next moment there was just an expanding cloud of plasma. The rod had not just destroyed the ship. It had vaporized it. Turned it into gas. The energy release created a cone of destruction behind the impact point. 3 more Vrex ships were caught in that cone. Their shields failed instantly. Their hulls melted. They died in fire, and the rods kept coming. On Mars, similar weapons fired. On the moons of Jupiter. On platforms hidden in Saturn's rings. All across the solar system, humanity had built these weapons. And now they all fired at once. The Vrex fleet scattered. They tried to hide behind asteroids. They tried to use debris as shields. Nothing worked. The rods punched through everything. Rock, metal, energy shields. Nothing stopped them. Kethros watched his fleet die. Ship after ship vanished from his tactical display. Each vanishing icon represented hundreds of lives. Thousands of crew members, all gone in an instant. How? He whispered. How did they build this? How did we not know? His second officer, a young female Vrex named Tala, stood beside him. She had been studying human history. It was her job to understand the enemy. Now she understood too well. They built it over 200 years, Tala said quietly. Every colony ship they sent out carried construction equipment. Every moon they landed on became a fortress. Every asteroid they mined became a weapon platform. They never stopped building, never stopped preparing. But why? Kethros asked. Why prepare for war when they could have prepared for peace? Tala looked at him with sad eyes. Because of their history, Admiral. Humans spent thousands of years fighting each other. They know war. They understand it. And they learned one lesson above all others. The best time to prepare for war is during peace. Another impact. Another ship gone. The tactical display was mostly empty now. Only 70 ships remained. 70 out of 500. Kethros realized something. The humans had turned their entire solar system into a weapon. Every planet. Every moon. Everything. It was not a defensive system. It was a trap. A massive solar system-sized trap. And the Vrex had flown right into it, sir. The communications officer called out. Incoming transmission. From the humans. The same female voice from before filled the bridge. Admiral Sarah Chen, Admiral Kethros. You are witnessing what 200 years of preparation looks like. You came here with 500 ships. You thought that was enough. You thought we were weak. You were wrong. Kethros wanted to speak. To say something. But what could he say? The human was right. They had been completely, catastrophically wrong. You asked how we built this, Sarah continued. The answer is simple. We built it slowly, carefully, in secret. While the galaxy watched our ships, we built our weapons. While the Council counted our stations, we militarized our moons. While you underestimated us, we prepared. Another impact. Another ship destroyed. 53 ships left. You want to know the secret of humanity? Sarah asked. We are very good at learning from our mistakes. And we made many mistakes on Earth. We fought wars for thousands of years. Sometimes we won. Sometimes we lost. But we always learned. We learned that the defender has an advantage. We learned that surprise wins battles. We learned that patience defeats aggression. We learned that physics is the strongest weapon. And most importantly, we learned that the best defense is one your enemy never sees coming. 41 ships left. You came here to teach us a lesson, Sarah said. Instead, we are teaching you. This is what happens when you threaten humanity. This is what happens when you bring war to our home. This is what happens when you underestimate us. 27 ships left. Kethros looked at his crew. Young Vrex, old Vrex, all of them knew they were about to die. Some were crying. Some were praying. Some just sat at their stations doing their jobs until the end. 14 ships left. I have one message for the Galactic Council, Sarah said. Tell them what happened here. Tell them that humanity will not submit. Tell them that we will not pay tribute. Tell them that we are not prey. And tell them that if they send another fleet, the result will be the same. 7 ships left. We gave you one warning, Sarah said. We told you to turn back. You did not listen. Now the galaxy will learn what we already know. Humanity does not make empty threats. When we warn you, you should listen. 3 ships left. Kethros closed his eyes. He had failed. Failed his empire. Failed his crew. Failed everyone. The humans had won. Completely, absolutely, perfectly, 1 ship left. His flagship. Goodbye, Admiral Kethros, Sarah said. There was no joy in her voice, no hatred. Just cold finality. The tactical officer looked up. Sir, final projectile inbound. 10 seconds. Kethros opened his eyes. He stood straight. He had been a warrior all his life. He would die as one. It has been an honor serving with you all, he said to his crew. They saluted him. One last time, then the tungsten rod arrived. Traveling at 100,000 kilometers per second, carrying the kinetic energy of a star. The flagship disappeared, vaporized, turned into plasma and scattered atoms. The Virex fleet was gone. All 500 ships. Destroyed in 4 minutes and 17 seconds, not a single human ship had left port. Not a single human soldier had died. The humans had won without ever engaging directly. They had won through preparation, through planning, through patience. In the Mars High Command Center, Admiral Sarah Chen watched the last red icon disappear from her screen. The battle was over. The war was over. Around her, the command center was silent. No one cheered. No one celebrated. They had just killed thousands of beings. It was necessary. It was justified. But it was not something to celebrate. General Park stood beside her. He looked old, tired. "It is done," he said quietly. Sarah nodded. "Yes, it is done. Now comes the hard part." "The Galactic Council," Park said. "Yes, they need to understand. We do not want war. We do not want conquest. We just want to be left alone, to live in peace. But if they force us to fight, we will win. We will always win. Because we prepare for the battles we hope never to fight." She turned to Commander Liu. "Send a message to the Galactic Council. Full combat recordings. Every sensor log. Every tactical display. Show them everything that happened here." "Yes, Admiral," Liu said. "What message should accompany the recordings?" Sarah thought for a moment. Then she smiled. It was a tired smile. A sad smile, but also a proud smile. "Tell them this. Humanity requests a seat at the Council. Not as subjects, not as tribute payers, but as equals, as partners. We offer peace, cooperation, and friendship, but we will accept nothing less than full sovereignty. If they agree, we will share our knowledge, our technology, our strength. If they refuse, they will face what the Vrex faced. The choice is theirs." General Park nodded slowly. "A simple message, clear, honest, no threats. Just facts." "Yes," Sarah agreed. "Just facts." The Vrex fleet came here with 500 ships. 1 week later, the Galactic Council chamber was full again. Every representative had come. Every species wanted to see the recordings, to understand what had happened in the human solar system. Council leader Maxis sat on his platform. He looked even older than before. The last week had aged him. The news from the human system had shocked the entire galaxy. The great display screens lit up. They showed the combat recordings, everything, the asteroid platforms, the missiles moving at impossible speeds, the tungsten rods, the complete destruction of the Vrex fleet. The Council watched in silence. Some representatives made sounds of disbelief. Others sat perfectly still. All of them understood they were watching something that changed everything. The recording showed the timeline. 4 minutes and 17 seconds. That was how long the battle had lasted. 4 minutes. The Vrex fleet had been completely destroyed in less time than it took to make a cup of tea. When the recordings ended, the chamber remained silent. No one knew what to say. How do you respond to such overwhelming power? Finally, Maxis spoke. His voice was quiet but firm. The war probability computers predicted the humans would fall in 6 to 8 hours. Instead, the humans ended the war in 4 minutes. The computers were not just wrong. They were catastrophically, impossibly wrong. Why? A science officer, a being made of crystalline structures, stepped forward. It spoke through vibrations that were translated into sound. Council leader, the computers calculated based on visible assets. Human ships, human stations, human colonies. The computers assumed that what we could see was what existed. This assumption was incorrect, Maxis nodded. Continue. The humans built their defensive network in secret, the crystal officer said. They disguised their weapons as natural objects. They hid their platforms inside asteroids. They used passive sensors that produced no emissions. They made everything look harmless. Our intelligence never detected the true scale of their preparations. Another representative spoke up. This one looked like a giant bird. How long? How long did they build this system? 200 years, the crystal officer replied. They started building when they first left their homeworld. Every colony ship carried construction materials. Every mining operation built weapons. Every research station was actually a military installation. They never stopped. Never paused. For 2 centuries they built and built and built. A reptilian representative hissed. Why did we not see this? Why did our intelligence fail so completely? Maxis answered this time. Because we looked for what we expected to see. We expected a young species, a primitive species, a species that would be like all the others we have encountered. We expected them to be like us. That was our mistake. He pointed at the display screens. They now showed images of Earth, of humanity's long history. Humans are not like us, Maxis said. Most species in this galaxy reached space after achieving peace on their homeworlds. They unified. They cooperated. They built together. Humans did not. Humans reached space while still fighting each other. They achieved spaceflight while their planet was divided into hundreds of nations. They built starships while waging wars. The crystal officer projected data into the air, images of human history, wars, battles. conflicts spanning thousands of years. Humans have been practicing warfare for their entire recorded history, the officer said. They have fought with stones, with metal, with chemicals, with nuclear weapons. They have studied strategy for millennia. They have refined tactics for generations. War is not new to them. War is what they know best. A council member from the Thaxian collective spoke. Then we should destroy them. Before they become a threat to everyone, send a larger fleet. Send 10 fleets. Eliminate them now while we still can. Maxis looked at the Thaxian with tired eyes. Did you not watch the recordings? Did you not see what they did to 500 warships? Do you think 10 fleets would make a difference? The recordings showed only one solar system, the Thaxian argued. Their home system. If we attack their colonies instead, scatter their defenses, we can win. The crystal officer made a sound like breaking glass. Laughter. The humans anticipated that strategy. They sent additional data, sensor readings from their 12 colony systems. Every single colony has similar defenses, some even stronger than Earth's system. They fortified everything, the chamber filled with noise, representatives arguing. Some wanted war, some wanted peace, some wanted to pretend humans did not exist. Everyone had an opinion. Everyone was afraid. Maxis raised all 6 of his arms. The chamber went quiet. Enough, he said. We must face the truth. We made a terrible mistake. We underestimated the humans. We treated them like children, like primitives. We tried to force them to submit, and they destroyed us for it. He pointed at the displays showing the destroyed Vrex fleet. 500 ships. Gone. The Vrex Dominion was one of our strongest members. They conquered 47 systems. They had the best weapons, the best shields, the best training, and they lasted 4 minutes against humanity. Maxis looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of every representative. We have 2 choices. We can fight the humans, send fleet after fleet until they are destroyed. This will cost us millions of lives, maybe billions, and we might not win. The humans have shown us only a small part of their capabilities. We do not know what else they have hidden. He paused to let that sink in. Or we can accept their terms, grant them sovereignty, give them a seat at this council, treat them as equals, learn from them, work with them. This costs us nothing except our pride. The Thaxian representative stood up. You would reward them for destroying a council fleet? You would give them power after they showed such violence? They showed violence because we threatened them, Maxis replied. We sent warships to their home. We planned to make them surrender. They defended themselves. That is not wrong. That is natural. A new voice spoke, old, wise. It came from Ambassador Varix of the Eldest. The Eldest were ancient. Their species had been in space for 20,000 years. They rarely spoke at council meetings. When they did, everyone listened. I have studied these humans, Varix said. Her voice was like wind through old trees. I have read their history, their literature, their philosophy, and I see something remarkable. The chamber went completely silent. Varix continued. Humans have a saying, speak softly and carry a big stick. They prepare for war so that they can have peace. They build weapons so that they never need to use them. They show strength so that no one dares to test them. This is wisdom. Varix pointed at the recordings of the battle. Look at what they did. They warned us. They sent one clear message, turn back. They gave the Vrex a chance to avoid this. The Vrex refused. Only then did the humans fight. And when they fought, they won decisively, completely. No prolonged war, no years of conflict, just one swift, brutal lesson. She looked around the chamber. This is not a species that loves violence. This is a species that understands violence, that respects it, that prepares for it, but also a species that offers peace first. They sent us terms, not threats, terms. They want to cooperate, to work together. They are offering friendship. Varix turned to Maxis. I say we accept their terms, welcome them to the council, learn from their strength, because the alternative is war, and I have lived 20,000 years. I have seen many wars. This is not one we can win. Maxis nodded slowly. Thank you, Ambassador Varix, your wisdom is appreciated. He looked around the chamber. We will vote. All in favor of accepting human terms and granting them full council membership? Arms raised. Tentacles lifted. Lights flashed. The vote was not unanimous. Some species still wanted war, but the majority understood. The humans had earned their place. The motion passes, Maxis declared. Humanity is granted full sovereignty and council membership. Send a message to Earth. Tell them we accept their terms. Tell them the galaxy welcomes them. As equals, the chamber began to empty. Representatives talking among themselves. Some excited, some worried. All of them knowing that today the galaxy had changed forever. Maxis remained on his platform. He looked at the display screens, at the images of human achievements, their cities, their ships, their weapons. Ambassador Varix approached him. You are troubled, old friend, Maxis nodded. I am thinking about what the humans could have done. If they had wanted conquest instead of peace, if they had attacked us instead of defending themselves, Varix smiled. But they did not. That is what makes them worthy of respect. They have the power to destroy, but they choose to build. They could conquer, but they offer cooperation. This is the mark of true civilization. Perhaps, Maxis said, or perhaps they are just waiting, building even more, preparing for something bigger. Varix laughed. Then we should be very glad they are our friends and not our enemies. Meanwhile, in the shadows of the chamber, a small group of representatives met quietly. The Thaxian, representatives from the Virex Dominion, a few others. Species that did not accept this outcome. Species that wanted revenge. This is not over, the Thaxian whispered. The humans may have won this battle, but the war continues. We will find their weaknesses, we will learn their secrets, and someday we will make them pay. The others nodded. They were afraid, but they were also angry, and anger sometimes overcomes fear. 3 months after the battle, the first human delegation arrived at the Galactic Council chambers. Their ship was not a warship. It was a diplomatic vessel. Clean, simple, peaceful. But everyone who watched it dock remembered what human ships could do, what human weapons could achieve. Ambassador James Okoye led the delegation. He was tall with dark skin and gray hair. He moved slowly, confidently. Behind him walked a small team. Scientists, diplomats, military advisors. All of them carefully chosen. All of them aware that the galaxy was watching. The council chamber was full. Every species wanted to see the humans in person, to hear what they would say. To understand what came next, Maxis stood to greet them. Ambassador Okoye, welcome to the Galactic Council. We are pleased to accept humanity as full members. Please speak. James stepped forward. He looked around the chamber, at all the different species. So many forms of life, so many different worlds. He felt the weight of the moment. This was history. Humanity's first words to the galaxy. Thank you, Council Leader Maxis, James began. His voice was calm, clear. I stand here today representing 7 billion humans. People who live on Earth and 12 colony worlds. People who have dreamed of this moment for centuries. The moment when humanity joins the galactic community. He paused. Let the words settle. I know what you are thinking. You watched the recordings of the battle. You saw what we did to the Vrex fleet. You are wondering if we are dangerous, if we are a threat, if you made a mistake by accepting us. Some representatives shifted in their seats. He was right. That was exactly what they were thinking. I will not lie to you, James continued. Yes, we are dangerous. We have weapons that can destroy fleets, defenses that can stop invasions, technology that you did not know existed. We are very good at war. We practiced it for thousands of years. We learned how to kill efficiently, how to defend perfectly, how to win absolutely. The chamber was completely silent, every being listening carefully. But here is what you need to understand, James said. We are good at war because we know what war costs. We know what it destroys. We know the pain it causes. We fought each other for millennia. Brother against brother, nation against nation. We filled our history with blood and tears, and we learned something important from all that suffering. He looked around the chamber, meeting eyes, making connections. We learned that peace is better than war, that cooperation is better than conflict, that building is better than destroying. We learned these lessons the hard way, through pain, through loss, through mistakes we can never take back. James activated a hologram. It showed Earth, beautiful, blue and green, peaceful from space when we finally unified our planet. When we finally stopped fighting each other and looked up at the stars, we made a promise. Never again would humanity destroy itself. Never again would we waste our strength on pointless wars. Never again would we be unprepared for danger. The hologram changed. Now it showed the solar system, all the defenses, all the weapons, Everything humanity had built. You ask why we built all this, why we prepared so much, why we turned our entire solar system into a fortress. The answer is simple. Because we remember. We remember what happens when you are weak, when you are unprepared, when you think that others will leave you alone just because you mean no harm. James looked at the section where the Vrex representatives sat. Their empire had collapsed. Their fleet was gone. Their power was broken. The Vrex came to our home planning to make us submit. They thought we were weak. They thought we were helpless. They were wrong. We gave them one warning, one chance to turn back. They refused. So we defended ourselves decisively, completely, perfectly. He turned back to address the full council. But that battle is over. That war is done. We do not want more war. We do not want conquest. We do not want to dominate anyone. What we want is simple. We want to be left alone, to live in peace, to raise our children, to explore the universe, to learn, to grow, to exist without fear. The hologram changed again. Now it showed human achievements, cities, art, music, science, medicine, technology. This is what humanity is really about. Not weapons, not war, not destruction. We are builders, creators, dreamers. We write stories. We paint pictures. We compose music. We cure diseases. We solve problems. We reach for the impossible and make it real. James smiled. It was a genuine smile, warm, open, friendly. We have so much to offer the galaxy. Our science, our art, our perspective. 200 years in space has taught us many things. We have made discoveries, developed technologies, found solutions to problems, and we want to share all of it, freely, openly, as partners, as friends. He gestured to his delegation. Scientists stepped forward and presented data chips. These contain our research on fusion power, on medical treatments, on agricultural improvements, on space navigation. Take them, use them. Help your people. This is our gift to the council, our first gift. There will be many more, representatives murmured among themselves. This was unexpected. Humanity was offering knowledge. For free, no demands, no conditions. Maxis looked at the data chips. Then at James. Why? Why give us this? You could trade it. Make profit. Gain advantage. Why give it freely? James smiled wider. Because that is what partners do. They help each other. And because the stronger the galaxy is, the safer we all are. When everyone prospers, everyone benefits. This is something humans learned long ago. We succeed together or fail alone. He took a deep breath. This was the important part. The message he needed to make absolutely clear. But I must be honest with you. Completely honest. So there is no confusion, no misunderstanding, no repeat of what happened with the Vrex. The chamber went quiet again. Everyone listening. Humanity offers peace, cooperation, friendship. We will share our knowledge, trade fairly, work together on mutual goals. We will be good members of this council. We will contribute, participate, help when needed. James's expression became serious, his voice firm. But we will never submit to anyone. We will never pay tribute. We will never accept orders from those who think they are better than us. We demand full sovereignty, complete independence, equal standing. Not as subjects, not as inferiors, but as equals. As partners, he paused. Let the words sink in. And if anyone threatens us, if anyone attacks our homes, if anyone tries to force us to kneel, they will face what the Vrex faced. We will defend ourselves absolutely, decisively, without mercy. This is not a threat. This is a promise, a fact, a guarantee. The hologram changed one more time. Now it showed both images, human achievements and human weapons, side by side. The choice made clear. The galaxy can have our friendship or our weapons, our cooperation or our defenses, our gifts or our guns. The choice is yours. Choose friendship, and we will work together to build a better future. Choose hostility, and you will learn why humanity survived 10,000 years of our own violence. James looked directly at Maxis. We gave the Vrex one warning. We tell you now. We only shoot at things that shoot first, so please, do not shoot first. He stepped back. His speech was done. Now came the response. Maxis stood slowly. He was silent for a long moment, thinking, considering. Then he spoke. Ambassador Okoye, you speak with remarkable honesty. You offer both kindness and warning. You show us your strength and your generosity. This is wisdom. He looked around the chamber, at all the representatives. The Council accepts humanity as full members, with complete sovereignty, equal standing, all the rights and privileges of membership. We welcome your knowledge, your cooperation, your friendship, and we respect your strength, your preparedness, your ability to defend yourselves. Maxis raised all 6 arms in a gesture of peace. Welcome to the galaxy, humanity. May we build a better future together. The chamber erupted. Some representatives cheered. Some stayed silent. Some looked worried. But all of them understood. The galaxy had changed. A new power had emerged. One that offered peace but guaranteed war for those who refused it. As James left the speaking platform, Ambassador Varix of the Eldest approached him. She smiled. A genuine, warm smile. That was a good speech, young one. You spoke truth. That is rare in politics, James returned the smile. Thank you, Ambassador. Your species supported us when others wanted war. We will not forget that, Varix laughed. We supported you because we recognized wisdom when we saw it. Your species understands something that took us 20,000 years to learn. The best weapon is the one you never need to use. The best defense is the one that prevents attack by its mere existence. We had good teachers, James said. History, pain, mistakes. They taught us well. And now you will teach others, Varix said. Young species will look at humanity and learn. Learn that peace requires strength. That kindness requires the ability to be unkind. That civilization means choosing not to use the weapons you possess. James nodded. That is the hope. That someday no one will test us, because everyone knows what would happen if they did. Meanwhile, on Earth, Admiral Sarah Chen stood in her office. She looked out the window at the Martian landscape. In the distance, the massive gun batteries still pointed at the stars. Silent, cold, waiting. General Park entered. The delegation was successful. The Council accepted our terms, Sarah nodded. Good, but we do not stop preparing.